Okay, let's jump right to our around the league items. I know you're going to start in Baltimore.
Baltimore, again, we're talking about around the league, but this also could be a smart decision. The Baltimore Ravens are looking to extend head coaching for another 3 years in John Harbaugh. And this is a guy, I thought it was a gutsy move to bring him in because he was a special teams coach. He was known as a special teams coach when I was with him in Philadelphia, and they gave him a chance to be a head coach. And how did he respond? He goes to the playoffs 3 years in a row, and he has a regular season record of 32-16. So if my Rice University education doesn't fail me, that lets me know he has twice as many victories as losses, and they're trying to tie him up, and that's what they need to do. That's almost as important as your number one pick in the draft, making sure your head coach is secure for years to come.
It's interesting the way that worked out. Philadelphia had Harbaugh special teams coordinator, Brad Childress, offensive coordinator. Childress, of course, bombed out, can't get a job. Harbaugh's one of the best head coaches in the league. Now, my first item, I'm going back to the Jets. Since Rex Ryan's been the head coach the last 2 seasons, he has 4 victories. Bill Belichick has none. Mark Sanchez has 4 victories. Tom Brady has none. What do you think about that?
That's unbelievable. Until you told me that, you could have asked me the question, I would have got it wrong every time. I never would have thought that. And it just goes to show that Rex Ryan, he's not just a rah-rah guy. He's a guy that knows how to win, and he's winning in big games. He's winning in the playoffs. And this is a guy that you're going to have to respect him regardless of all his antics that he does off the field.
I thought we were done with Brett Favre. Now you want to talk about it?
First of all, how can you not talk about one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game filing his retirement papers with the NFL? So this looks like this might be a true retirement. And if so, I want to say thank you, Brett Favre, for being one of the best, one of the most entertaining players in the NFL. And with that being said, whether he comes back or not, we know he's not going to Minnesota. So Leslie Frazier needs to put his foot down, not his hand, but his foot down, and say we need a top-notch quarterback. I think there's going to be guys out there that they could bring in, but Tavarius Jackson and Joe Webb, the 2 quarterbacks that they have on the roster right now, they don't need to be battling for the number 1 position. If anything, those 2 guys need to be battling for the 3rd emergency quarterback position, and they need to bring in a Donovan McNabb type, a Matt Leinart type, and wait for it, Vince Young. If Vince Young's available, they need to bring him in and let one of those guys that are proven winners in the NFL, minus Matt Leinart, fight for a starting job and let the guys that they have on the roster now fight for that backup position. Because Leslie Frazier, unlike Kubiak, he's not going to get 6 years to turn the organization around and get back to the playoffs. He's only going to have a window of 2 or 3 years, so he needs to have a quarterback that he can rely on.
Yeah, I'm not laughing about Vince. He's 30-17 as a starter, and he needs to get away from Nashville and Houston as far away as he can and start over. Now, what do the 4 quarterbacks in the championship games have in common? They're all former number 1 picks. So does that mean you got to have a quarterback taken in the first round, even though Tom Brady was not?
I won't say it means you have to have a quarterback taken in the first round, but it does mean you better put a lot of stock into your quarterback, and you better bring in a proven quarterback, and that needs to be your most important pick. Whether you get him in the first round, second round, third round, put a lot of effort into evaluating your quarterback because, as you're saying, you go as your quarterback goes.
Okay, what do you think about what happened with the Raiders?
I have mixed feelings about that. They promoted Hugh Jackson, and why not? All he did was turn around the offense. They were ranked number 6 in scoring, and it was the best rank as far as their overall record since 2002, and a lot of that reason was because of the success of the offense. But you're not just playing with the offense, you're playing with an entire team, special teams, defense, personnel, coaches, and I thought Tom Cable should have gotten the respect for turning that program around. Instead, they don't bring him back. They promote Hugh Jackson, and what they need to realize is now, before when Tom Cable was the head coach, Hugh Jackson was just worried about the X's and O's and play calling. Now he's going to have to be worried about personnel, who's going to start this week, disciplining players and coaches, having meeting schedules, and, oh, by the way, making those same offensive calls that led to the 6th-ranked offense in the NFL. So you better hope that he's a very, very good multitasker, since now he's going to be your head coach.
And it turns out Tom Cable was getting money deducted from his paycheck by Al Davis because Al was mad at him because they lost a couple of OTAs because they done something illegal, and now he's had to file a grievance, just like Lane Kiffin had to file a grievance to get some money back from Al Davis. Now, Aaron Rodgers has been on fire. In the game that they lost before at Arizona, I still think they scored 45. He's been great in these 2 playoff games. In his 3 playoff games, they're averaging 38 points a game. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers and the way he's playing right now?
Since Steve Young, he's the only guy I could think of that's replaced the legend successfully. And right now, he's vaulted into that elite status. You know, when we talk about elite quarterbacks, we like to talk about Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. You better throw in Aaron Rodgers. And what he did, he's done something in this last game against Atlanta that Brett Favre has never done. Brett Favre has never thrown for over 330 yards, and that's what Aaron Rodgers did. And if he keeps this up and goes to the Super Bowl, people are going to start to forget about Brett Favre.
Forget about Brett Favre. I don't see it.